planted your flag, okay? And I'm gonna disagree with you on this. You think the boos are coming for Cody Rhodes? Explain your position. Explain your position. Let's start with this. Because let's start it hot because this is a good discussion.
Okay.
Because I think me and Konnan probably disagree with you, but I want to hear your perspective.
All right, let's start with a story. Let's start with a little story, shall we? My daddy came to England in 1972 from Kenya, Africa. He was one of the African Muslims that came over to the UK in the early 70s. He had nothing. He basically moved over here with his two brothers and his
What part of Kenya is your dad from? Because I've been to Kenya.
Nairobi.
Oh, I was in Mombasa. Go ahead.
Oh, Nairobi's one of our hot girls at our club, by the way. That's
I thought you were going to say we're top on the Kenya podcast charts too.
Yeah, are we really?
I don't know. Probably.
No, look it up, Joe.
Yeah, I am.
Let's see where we are in Kenya. Maybe because Billy's helping our numbers in Kenya.
So Mombasa's more of a holiday spot. So yeah, they came over to the country with nothing. They were all just given one house. His dad immediately went over to the army. So when he was 17 years old, when he came over in 1972, he had to basically put his brother's clothes on, put his sister's clothes on, get everybody to school. He was basically doing the father thing at 17 when he came over here, all living in like one tiny little flat. So he then went on to have he worked as a driver, and then he figured it out and ended up having a courier business, married my mum, and bought a house by 24. So came to this country at 17 with nothing and bought a house at 24. Now, I had to hear about this the whole time. Anything that I was doing, or if I wasn't doing anything successfully, it'd be like, I came here with nothing. I came here with nothing. I came here with nothing. So when it came time to me leaving school and college and whatnot, and my university was done, it was immediately a case of, all right, you coming to work here? You come and run this with me. Come on, I need to show you how to run the courier company. And I said no, because there was no way that I was hearing stories about somebody that came over with nothing in 1972, basically looked after his entire family, and then went and made a successful courier business. And by the way, it was quite racist here in the 70s, especially when these immigrants first started to come over. It's not like it is now, where it's just flooded with immigrants. So even to the point where when my dad married my mum, who was actually born here, her dad didn't want her to marry one of the immigrants. So she had to stop seeing her dad, and she never saw him again. And I never met him until I saw his dead body in 2015. So that I never spoke or met my granddad on my mum's side. So
I never met my granddad on my dad's side, but right. I don't know why.
So all of this, all of this was in my head. So when it got to the point of, running the courier company and taking the easy route, I decided, no, I'm going to do other things. I'm going to try and be a personal trainer, which was the first thing I was qualified for. Then I got into this modeling, got these modeling gigs because someone spotted me. Then I tried to parlay modeling into get commercials, and then I ended up in Big Brother. So the first time I went into Big Brother, I remember when I came out of Big Brother, I was telling my dad, I was like, I'm making this for this. I'm getting paid this for this. I'm getting paid that for that. And he just wasn't impressed. The only thing he said to me was, you need to give me £25,000 of your money to keep on the side in case this whole thing goes up. If this all up, you need to give me 25 grand. That's all he said. If you fast forward to the point where it didn't up, because I was able to reach a point where I was able to buy this place outright. And I said to him, all right, I'm tired of renting now. I'm going to buy the property. And he turned around and goes, oh, so you're going to need that 25 grand. The agreement was if I didn't touch it, that he would double it. So he goes, I've got 50 grand for you. Do you want it? I said, no, I don't need it. I've got all the money myself from my podcasting and whatnot. I can buy the house outright. I'm going to use that money for the car, which is how we ended up with the Porsche. But still to that point, I don't feel that it's there. But I feel like the real thing that I need to do, because I just haven't had that adulation, is that from doing this podcasting stuff, it's one thing to make a living, but I need to be the podcaster of the year, guys. I need to win the podcasting championship and hand it into my father's hands. That's what I need to do. That's why I do this every week. I need to win that podcast title. It just means so much to me. That's what I want. Can you appreciate that?
Okay, this is a very long story with a terrible joke at the end.
So what does that do? All right, so
exactly.
Tie that into Cody Rhodes.
Exactly. It's pointless. Everything I just said. Thank you for doing that. You fell right into the trap. It's pointless. Nobody gives a about my dad. Nobody gives a about me. Nobody gives a about what I want to give to him or hand him. No one cares. Your dad's died. Loads of dads have died before. We don't talk about it every single week on TV and use it in a storyline. Dusty Rhodes is dead. It's bad. It's sad. Okay, you can mention it one time. You can mention it when you come in. You can mention it when you win the title. Promo after promo after promo. Dusty. Can you not get over by yourself? Do you have nothing about you to get over by yourself? Yeah. Do we have to hear Dusty Rhodes' name every single week on television? Like, how is this going to work?
Because the audience and society has changed. Oh. They love the fans. Look at the fans. The wrestling fan is a lot of very liberal audience. You know, a lot of fake outrage. They get offended. They get, they dig that. Maybe we don't. But I'm with you. I'm like, Cody Rhodes is still, to me, working to get to the point where, like, I'm still surprised why this guy's in the WrestleMania main event, just like a lot of people. But I've listened to that crowd, and I'm like, God dang, this guy gets a good pop. It's like, why on earth is this guy getting such a, like, I can't figure it out. And it's like, as long as the pops stay good, and as long as he's still, like, the fans are digging those promos.
Yep. So,
Cody, what's your take?
I agree a little bit with Billy, and I agree a little bit with you, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Yeah, I don't give a about, that your dad didn't make it and all that. That to me is not a storyline that I really care about. But
right.
I've been in the business and Dusty Rhodes was my idol in Miami, bro. Yeah. There was nobody bigger than Dusty. I mean, nobody.
One of the people I've idolized to get into the business, Right.
Yeah. And so even when you'd go to school, everybody would be hitting everybody with bionic elbows
and do the Dusty. They'd be doing this to each other.
Right.
To this day.
To this day, yeah.
So, and the thing's called the Dusty Tag Team Tournament. He obviously had a lot of influence on other wrestlers. Obviously, he's one of the smartest guys that's ever been in the business. And he's very high. He's highly.
Because Eric, because he didn't make no money till WCW didn't make any money till Eric Bischoff did, and he did something.
Well, he may not have made any money. He made a lot of money in Florida, and he made a lot of money when he was in the NWA and when he was in Florida. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, Billy, that's not true. That's like.
And not only that, he's one. I just think you don't like him. It's like, and I've always said this: when you don't like somebody, it sounds like it. When you don't like somebody, they can do no right. When you like somebody, they can do no wrong. But this is one of the most charismatic guys in an industry full of charismatic people in the history of our fucking business. Wait a minute. Here's one of the best talkers. Wait, let me finish. Here's one of the best talkers in the history of the business, okay? And charismatic, and came up with cool ideas like Starrcade and other. And the Dusty finish, which it wouldn't have been overdone, was a pretty good finish to get people pissed. He was not a dumbass. So he goes over to WWE, and he's revered, just like Brody King was revered over there.
Brody Lee,
and just like Perro Aguayo Jr. is in AAA, that to this day, I don't know how many years after his death, we're having April 8th, we're having a Perro Aguayo tribute show, and it'll get packed because people love that guy.
Are you going to cut a heel promo on him?
No, I'm a babyface now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Yeah. Just real quick, sidebar. You're a babyface in Mexico now? You've been baby heel for like 15 years.
I know. Yeah. But it was very hard to get him to boo me anymore. Yeah.
Right. All right.
What was I selling? Oh, so my point is that is his son. Dusty Rhodes was a guy that existed, that wrestled in WWE, that never won the WWE title. And here's the main thing, bro. Even though I'm not a big fan of him using his dad to get over, much like Charlotte did with her dad, with Rick, bro, the people were chanting at one point, Dusty, Dusty. Bro, they're not going to chant that just because they want to. That storyline, and Dusty's over with the crowd. They probably looked him up on YouTube and they were like, wow, this guy's charismatic or whatever. But if there would have been tumbleweeds and, like during the Get My Go show, they probably would cut that storyline, But the people are into it. It's just like Charlotte when she first came out. Woo! blue and the Ric Flair robe, and Ric Flair was accompanying her and all that, and she's great. She doesn't need him, but that is her dad. Why not use it to further the storyline? Why not use that? He always tried to get the brass ring to further the storyline. And at the end of the day, Billy, I think the most important thing is whether you like it or not, or whether I like it or not, the people are with it.
They're with it for 2 weeks. He still just made a comeback. He's still off the back of what they're into is the fact that you're disregarding the fact that he did a very brave and stupid thing, which I don't think any of us could have done. Like especially not me, where he wrestled with a torn pec. I mean, Glenn's turned around and said he could do it because
I've done it. I tore my pec one afternoon and wrestled that night. You can do it. You're limited, but you can do it.
So, cool.
But the visual with him with the all black and blue.
It's like a light tube match
terrible.
where you get hit with these light tubes. They don't really hurt.
But it made him
really
look
bad.
It made him look super tough and dedicated and all that. Right. And that's what this fan base likes. Yeah.
You know, let me say something here as well. Let me put I know we give each other, but let me put Glenn over, because one thing that I don't think I could do is I'm not mature to the point yet where someone could be a moron the way Cody was to Glenn and put that tweet out that he did, and Glenn's still on here defending him. So I would never do that. So I have to give props.
Because we're not snowflakes, bro.
Exactly, but that's the thing. It's not a snowflake.
Meltzer just put some on me in the Observer that wasn't true, and I corrected it. Still, my boy.
Yeah, I that's what I mean. I think it gives credibility to the show that Cody put out because Cody's tweet was not valid. He turned around and
said he made $0. Like you went to work for free,
and we went over it this
every
week.
Sentence of it last week, and every sentence is factually incorrect. So I was like, that's why I don't care. I'm more offended by truth. If you tell me something that really hit hard, you're right. That hurts me more than some guy trying to insult me because
from a friend.
From a friend. Because when I see the insults, and the insults are exactly like the trolls that have 7 followers, and it's the same verbiage, it's like that doesn't resonate with me. It's I don't care. It's your insult is the exact same as AEW fan 3695 that's calling me a jobber and irrelevant. You have the exact same take as this guy. So it's why am I going to look at that as a relevant take that's going to offend me? That's the way I look at it. So I'm not offended by stuff like that because it's not. I know if you feel confident in yourself, stuff like that should not be offensive. I feel confident in myself.
Once you see it, it's okay. Okay, so it's one thing to sit on the fence or it's easy to judge. It's easy when I'm not for the Cody push. When someone says that about you, it's easy to get on the bandwagon and be like, oh yeah, he does suck, and yeah, this is boring or whatever. But you didn't do that. You didn't sit there quietly either. You've gone as far as to actually defend him. The thing that I don't understand is
because he's over, bro. You can't deny that.
I can't watch. I can't analyze that show and not be honest of what I'm seeing. He's getting a good pop. Billy's playing.
We buried him in AEW. Remember when he did 100%. That dumb promo about
I have a dream.
I have a dream. I have a biracial.
And then when he had this was very dumb. Remember when he had that, because there's a big US UK feud right now,
right?
And he was going against Anthony Ogogo. Remember
that? Yeah.
But Billy, you didn't like the promo from Raw between Cody and Paul. You didn't dig that?
I guess he didn't. Let me hear it.
No, I listen as a standalone promo in terms of what WWE are doing very well at the moment is performance. I mean, even Eric Bischoff said this week that the Bloodline storyline is better than the NWO storyline, and he's right in terms of the performance. I don't think that the acting of Hall and Nash and Hogan was up to the level of the Bloodline, but at the end of the day, it drew money. And at the end of the day, at one point, 6 million people watched the Disco Inferno, and Cody Rhodes.
You got to remember
Cody Rhodes is going to take 3 weeks to get 6 million people.
Let me just say something about that storyline, which was one of the greatest storylines ever.
Good point, Billy. By the way,
all those guys were up on drugs. All those guys were fighting other guys that were trying to take their spots. They were shooting on live TV. All right,
drinking before they're going out on TV.
Right. almost getting into fights in the locker room.
Wine and beer before the locker room before they went out and cut the promos.
Yeah, these guys are disciplined. Nobody's coming up on drugs. You know what I mean? It's a whole different mindset. But it is a great storyline.
Eventually, there was no stakes in the NWO WCW story, because if WCW beat NWO for a belt, Eric would just give it back. And Hall and Nash never played it serious.
He missed the biggest thing is he should have done something with the Wolfpack against NWO, but he was so mad at everybody in the Wolfpack except Sting that I'm
going to challenge lockbetting.com here to a friendly $20 wager. Okay. Lockbetting.com is planted his flag. It says the boos are coming. Pin this tweet. All right. You tweeted that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the boos are going to come, and I'll bet you $20. And here's why I don't think they're going to come. I think the WWE is clever enough to know, and they're doing great storytelling. Cody is getting a pop. They're seeing Sammy. They know their spot, and they're navigating their way through this thing. I don't think we're going to get the
plus. This is how much they know that they might.
You accept the $20 bet, Billy? That Cody is not going to get booed in his promos going
they're further away than Billy thinks. I think it'll happen, but not for a long time.
Just $20. It's $20 bet. Do you want to take it?
Yeah, of course, I'll take that bet. I think.
Cool. There you go. All right.
He'll be.
How long do you think it'll take?
Yeah, when's it going to start?
Let's not take forever.
No, we have 6 weeks. I'll give him
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So let me tell you why I agree with Glenn, because they already. Huh?
He'll be booed at WrestleMania. That crowd.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll see. He's got a good point. Maybe they might. They might come the finish of that the elimination chamber.
But I think Glenn.
I still disagree with that. I'll bet $20.
I think, Glenn, that they know that they may have that problem. That's why they specifically had him put Sami Zayn over in his promo.
Right. I'll say this: Billy does have a good point. And I'm going on a limb here, challenging him to this $20 bet because he could be.
That's a different crowd.
You could absolutely be right. I'm not saying like you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to trend that way. And but it'd be interesting TV going forward anyway. So let's get to the
thing is that this is like, we gamble, and this is putting all your money on one thing, right? This is like almost a plus 700 shot what they're doing, whereas they could be spreading their bets across in order to, and they could be playing the odds a lot better. Instead, they're doing they're taking a plus 700 shot here in terms of, we're going to put it all on Dusty. We're going to put it all on this storyline. When we involve Paul Heyman, we're going to make that about Dusty as well. So for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's going to be Dusty. You know what happens after he wins the title? There's the one promo that you can talk about Dusty the next night. Roman Reigns goes off TV. There's no Dusty anymore. In week 2 as champion, there's no Dusty, there's no personality, there's nothing to talk about. He can come out and say, what do you want to talk about? Nothing, because you haven't given us nothing, because all you've been is Dusty Rhodes' son for the past 6 weeks.
Yeah, but bro, all it takes is somebody, and I'm just going to throw a name out there, like Randy Orton, to just come back as a heel and hit him with the RKO and go, I'm back, bitch, and I want that title. You got another storyline. Yeah.
Billy, I'm piggybacking off of something you said, which is the reason why I think Cody's going to get cheered. Okay? They're going to go with the finish of Roman beating Sammy in his hometown. And they're going to, you said, they're going to use this to continue to build Roman heat. As long as Roman keeps still getting good heat, Cody is going to keep getting cheered. That's not going to be – there's going to be the boos and the cheers. And I think they're booking Roman as a good enough heel right now, especially coming off – bro, you heard the crowd. F you, Roman. That's he got booed on SmackDown. Sammy got a huge pop hitting the ring. They're going to screw Sammy over at the Elimination Chamber. He's going to get even more heat. I don't see the boos coming for Cody as long as Roman still has that heat. And that's the heat that you said he's going to get going forward. So maybe go ahead.
And if Roman finally has that heat, then you have a heel who people are going to continue to invest in to see him lose. So this is the worst time to. He's finally got that heat because he's been too cool. He's been too cool. He's been too liked. He's been too many men want to be Roman Reigns, as I say on my show. So this is the thing. You had all of that. Now he's finally got some heat, and now you can carry that heat into feuds with Sammy, with Cody, with the returning Randy Orton, with Matt Riddle. You can do the very personal feud with Seth Rollins. You have a year of television ahead of you that's far better.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Than a boring title reign from Cody Rhodes that will lose steam.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be a title reign.
2 weeks. The rating down after 2 weeks. 100%.
I don't know what the finish is going to be for that match. They may continue to put Roman over to the next WrestleMania. Vince McMahon booked Bruno and Backlund were. How long were they champions for? Like Bruno was 8 years.
Yeah,
Backlund was how long?
6.
So it's in their DNA to do stuff like that, and they're looking back like, oh, this is like
not in a modern day product, because when you're booking 5 hours of television a week, that's kind of like almost a year is like 5 years back then in a way,
right.
because you see people so much. Even when I started watching wrestling on Wrestling Challenge and WWE Superstars, we didn't get Hogan and Warrior every week. You get one or the other, and sometimes neither. When you go back and watch those shows, like even when Bret was champion, like you get Bret Hart every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then maybe Undertaker and a week to fill in. If you didn't have Undertaker or Bret, you'd have like a decent main event, which would be good enough, which would usually be on Raw, like Tatanka and Ludwig Borger, 2 like upper mid-carders. That's how TV was done. Like you didn't see the guys all the time. So it was easy to make the reigns a lot longer. You can't, 6 years now is an absolute lifetime. 3 years feels like a lifetime. However, they're giving it a fresh coat of paint, because if people are booing and hating Roman for a year, they have them exactly where they want him. Like Cody can get a rematch. Cody, at the moment, he feels like a guy who went in number 30. He's using his daddy. There's no redemption storyline. There's a storyline that he's.
It was a comeback from injury storyline.
Yeah, there is that. But this whole thing
and then there's the secondary storyline that he did something his dad didn't, win the WWE Championship.
Yeah, but is that?
Plus, he left, made himself a success, came back.
Did his dad really want?
Didn't believe in him. That kind of shit.
Because his dad came to New York, and he worked with Randy Savage, and he worked with the Honky Tonk Man, and he worked with Ted DiBiase, and he asked to leave after 1 year. That doesn't sound like somebody that wanted to win the WWF title to me.
Yeah, but people don't have that inside information. They just assume if you're there that you want to be a champion. Why wouldn't you? That's everybody's goal.
He was offered the main event of WrestleMania 6, but he had to turn heel to face Hulk Hogan, and he didn't want to do it.
Right, but people don't know that inside, bro. There's a lot of casual fans that don't know that.
Because if you want to like chirp to me on Twitter, then you should know you shut your mouth. Don't come at me on Twitter.
Dude, I don't want to get into rants.
Well, if you don't know anything, shut the
fuck up. There's people. Okay, listen, bro.
Don't press your button.
Okay, listen.
What? Go on.
Not everybody is a mark for wrestling. There's a lot of casual fans that they just go to the shows and that's about it, and they watch it on TV. Not everybody's like looking up people's bios and their history.
These people aren't tweeting. They're not casual fans. If you're sitting there with a Twitter,
they're trolls.
Why you listen? Okay, why are you paying attention to a troll? We're getting into the same conversation we always do. You let stupid idiots trigger
they're on my
you.
Twitter account. These people are so fat and ugly.
Then block them.
They can't even show their faces. I'm talking to cartoons every day.
Why do you bother?
I'm talking to Brock Lesnar and Chris Jericho, apparently, according to the
Brock Lesnar fan 53744. Right?
We'll block.
What's the news this week? Let's get to the news. Because you like rating on the fans. Go ahead.
All right, so we'll talk quickly. We'll clear up a story. Ticket sales are up. Well, what the? Of course they are. It's WrestleMania. It happens every year. Obviously, the narrative's out there because everybody wants to get Cody Rhodes over. Because everybody, I think Konnan's gonna be wearing a Cody Rhodes t-shirt next week. Everybody wants to get Cody Rhodes over. But the fact that it's called the WrestleMania tour, and it's sold out every single year. Okay. Like, so why are we
let me stop you there right now, Big Mouth, because you try to minimize me with the t-shirt joke. I'm going to say this one more time, because you obviously don't listen to the show. You just listen to feedback from. If you listen to the show when Cody was getting booed, we were ripping him a new. We're telling you why.
That's true.
And we were on his ass. Okay. So I'm just telling you what you don't want to confirm. The guy's over. You just don't like him, and you get an unusual hate for people, and you just tear into them. But the guy's over. If not, they wouldn't even be pushing him.
Yeah, it's true. It's like they got two guys over at the same time right now. It's like it's a miracle.
And I also think
everybody's over after an injury. Everybody's over after.
Well, not everybody, and I also not everybody can. Not everybody can be a credible opponent for Roman Reigns. I bet you a lot of people think he might lose. You know, where
maybe, because you
didn't think that with Kevin Owens. You didn't think that with all the other guys.
Brian.
There's a lot of fans that know that the babyface usually goes over in the WrestleMania main event. Like they've done that for a year, maybe with a few minor exceptions. And I think fans are kind of like, they like there's only two guys that can wrestle Roman right now, and they're putting one of them in a pay-per-view the month before they're having the other one. And
let me say some real insider shit I shouldn't even be saying, but I will, because this is getting heated, and I know I'm right.
But we always get heated on the show with each other, so it's like that's not.
But I know that internally people aren't happy about this, because they feel that there's a lot of guys there that have been there a lot longer, that don't miss any dates, that feel like that this shouldn't be happening. And it's not just about the WrestleMania main event and him winning the title and whatnot. It's about the fact that he came in on more money than people, stipulated this, that, and the other, got his tour bus straight away. And the fact is that
he's got a tour bus
straight away. That's what was one of the things.
So this confirms a conversation me and Konnan were having. Bro, I brought this up. I was saying I was very confused at how, because the WWE usually, when they bring people back after getting rid of them, or they just let them go, they bring them back and they punish them. Like they make them pay their dues again. They make. And I was asking Konnan, and we had a conversation. We had Eric Bischoff on the show yesterday. We discussed this with them. Why on earth is Cody? Why did he leapfrog the whole roster, and he's getting the main event, the WrestleMania main event spot? Like, I'm just surprised why. And Eric said that it's because it's because he knows people. They've had these conversations. They look at this as an feud at AEW. We took one of your founding guys, we brought him back, and this is how we're treating him. So we are sending a message to the rest of that locker room, the guys that left, that you may still be over and getting like you may have you may have value in the market. Come back here. We'll treat you right. And it's like, I agree with you. I'm surprised. I was 100% surprised why he's in that spot. But it's like, it's weird. It's like you put him in that spot.
Not only did Eric say it, I said it, and it's the same. And it's the same thing, because I've done it in AAA. You bring a guy from another company, and then everybody in the other companies looking to see how he's being used, because they're thinking of jumping. And if they see if he's being used right, it helps you with further negotiations with other guys, because it's happened to me in Mexico.
Right. But Billy has the good point that I have.
Right.
What does that do to the rest of your roster and the morale?
Well, that's bro.
Well, I know.
Let me just finish this.
I agree with Billy. I guarantee it doesn't.
What he wants, but here's the thing: at the end of the day, it's very few times in history where you can take advantage of this, and the taking advantage of one of their pioneers, one of their vice presidents, a guy that was taking shots at them by coming out with the throne, a guy that was there before, that you can take them away, and all the buzz is going to WWE, and they're kind of ramming you with it. That's a big deal, and they took advantage of it, as you do when like with the guy that just jumped from CMLL to.
Billy has a good point, though.
Yeah,
bro. How do you handle the guys on your roster that are over,
right?
That were climbing up the ladder, and now they're stuck on the rung. And the other guy just like, well, we're taking this guy, we're putting him ahead of you on the ladder. It's like, well, what do you mean? What the Stardust guy? It's like,
right.
Why are you?
Well, he's not Stardust anymore. But you got to be professional enough to understand.
How do you handle?
We've been in the same position. I didn't like losing to Goldberg in 10 seconds, but they're trying to get the over. Right. So I can't be thinking about myself. I got to be thinking, okay, they're trying to get this guy over. When it's my turn, and there was a time when it was my turn, I was. Bigger guys were doing jobs with bigger names, and they didn't like it, but it was my turn, and you got to be professional, understand, okay, right now they're taking advantage of this, which might be good for business overall. Later on, they'll come back to me. And if they don't come back to you, you go and you say, hey, Cody came here. You didn't do with me. If you're not going to do anything with me, let me roll,
Yeah,
but sometimes you got to back up what the company's doing.
I think all of us have good points here.
Right.
And go ahead, Billy.
Well, just to clear that up, it's actually, from my understanding, you could be right. I mean, it might be something I don't know, but my understanding is that they saw him in a different light in terms of the way that he conducted himself in press conferences and when he did the reality show. They saw a marketable star who was a family man, who was possible to put him in front of the camera on reality.
He's an attractive guy,
and somebody who could conduct himself in press conferences and handle the mainstream media. So that they saw him in a completely different light.
Which is important because that's why Miz does so much media, because he knows how to talk and he comes well dressed, and you know what I'm saying, and he's articulate.
Exactly. They saw him as a Miz that they could actually push to the top, which is what they would love to do with Miz if he could get over. So that for me is more so what I've been told. Whether it was something to do with pissing AEW off doesn't seem likely, because I don't really think they look at him as a real threat. But
believe me, bro, they did that with all the intentions of sticking it in there. They may pretend that they don't let's see what's going on over there, but they're looking.
Bro, look at the numbers on the TV. It's like they're
remember when Nick Khan
pull it away, you know.
Bro, hey, Billy, remember when Nick Khan was being interviewed, I think by Ariel Helwani, and he said, "What do you think about Tony Khan?" He goes, "Well, yeah, it's easy losing a lot of money, isn't it?"
It's easy to run a business at a loss.
Right. And Ariel Helwani said something like, I forgot what it was, and he goes, "Well, I haven't looked at their books, but how are they doing?" He knows. He knows.
Right.
If not, he wouldn't have made that comment. They're they're looking. One company puts the other company way over too much, which is AEW. They're mentioning especially MJF, right?
Right.
And the other company just disses them, you know.
Yeah.
Because remember, even in Cody's promo, he even said, everybody knows there was another place being a rebel rouser or whatever he said. He wouldn't even mention the place.
Right. Yeah. What else you got for news, Billy?
That's the thing. One of the things I got buried on this show was like, oh, AEW's losing money. I think I said it like a year ago. AEW's losing money. I told you how much they were losing, and apparently people just couldn't accept it. But the fact that, so I personally know that guys were set up for certain spots before he was signed who lost their pushes. They lost their matches at Mania. Rollins was going to have a different opponent. The Money in the Bank winner was changed. Like, I personally know guys that are unhappy with this, that are unhappy with what he's being paid, that are unhappy with their spot as a result of him, and what they're most unhappy about, and this thing that Triple H said that he was going to change, and it still hasn't changed. And I don't understand why with WWE, this is the one thing that takes so long to fix, is that a lot of guys have one merchandising item at the house shows, normally in an adult size only. There is no kid sizes for 99% of the performers there. There is for the Bloodline, and now there is for Cody Rhodes. And there is real heat right now. Trust me, when Cody Rhodes has weight belts, 3 T-shirts, a hat, a wristband, and everything.
I can absolutely see that.
And guys that I know still have just 1 T-shirt available in XXL. They are, and I know they are because I've spoken to them about it. So if you think
we've been in this spot before where guys are getting pushed. You're like, "Where's my merch?" You know, it's like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've been in that, bro. When I was in Impact, they kept bringing all these in, you know, like the Dudleys and Christian, and I was putting it down with LAX, and I was like, "Where's my money? Why not getting paid?" You know, these guys are just coming in.
Yeah. If any of our listeners,
so I believe what you're saying.
If any of our listeners go to a house show in the next month or so, please send us a photo of the merch stand, and I can already tell you what it looks like. Cody is selling signed pictures. His signed pictures are being sold at the merch stand. They have the biggest markup because they cost 50 cents to make, and they charge for 20, and they're selling out all the time because only selected people sell their autographs. Only about 3 wrestlers get to sell their autographs. He's straight in with the #1 selling merch item, which is the signed picture. Cody gets it straight away, and he's had it since the beginning. He's got 3 T-shirts there. He's got kids' T-shirts. There's only 3 kids' T-shirts there. Trust me. Bloodline, the tour T-shirt, which is a T-shirt which has every wrestler on it and has all the dates at the back for the next month.
The company I could say heat over that, not Cody.
I could say this. When I was at Raw in Philly for the 30th anniversary or whatever, I went to the merch stand to get my buddy's kid a Cody shirt because he was way into him. Just based off the video, right? But hang on. But they were sold out of the kid size at the merch stand. So, yeah.
Right. But here's the thing. If Cody's humble, he won't get heat with the boys. If he's cocky, he's going to get mega heat. Because I guarantee you when Ronda Rousey first came in, she probably had some heat because she went straight to the top and didn't know how to wrestle, couldn't cut a promo, was marking out all over the place. You know, I'm sure Brock was getting heat because he wasn't at every TV.
We know how the boys are.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of competitive jealousy. There's like
but if Cody helps business, everybody will get in line. If he doesn't,
because the ratings are up and the houses are good. But he's piggyback. Well, go to the next story. We're running long on this. Go ahead.
The difference is how many UFC fights did Cody Rhodes go and win, and how many movies did he go and film? The fact is, it's different because even you wrestlers, you're biased against your own selves. Like you believe you hold Hollywood and you hold mixed martial arts in a high regard. And you just think that, oh, what the hell did he do? He went to AEW and now he's come back and now he's got a tour bus and he's making 3 times the money that I am because he makes $3 million.
I wouldn't be happy about that because I would think I'm as good a performer as he is.
And they do.
That's 100%. But he's nailing his content. That's all you can do is if you fail, bro, you're going to get a worse. Then you're going to hear the leaked stories come out. Then you're going to hear, the press getting negative. But like, bro, as long as he's hitting his notes, if you want to call it that, I can only pat him on the back, say good job so far. Like, go. What other stories you got?
Just run pretty quickly. At the moment, they're putting together the Hall of Fame class. If they don't confirm anything bigger, Batista's going to headline it, which means that he really benefited from turning it down when it was behind closed doors. Like he didn't want to do it with the no fans in the Thunderdome, like a few other guys did. So now he might get to headline in Hollywood, but he's going in even if he doesn't headline. And Trish Stratus is back on TV this week to join the Damage Control storyline.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Good. All right. That's good. I like content like that where we argue. I don't like agreeing on things. I like arguing. So it's like that's good content. Let's get into sports. All right.
All right. So that's been the hot news from London town with our boy Billy Body. Boom.
And it was hot this week.
And it was hot.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into
I saw some comments this week saying, "Oh, why doesn't Konnan go for Billy like he does for Joe?" Like I was like going.
Of course,
bro. We rip at each other all the time. If you listen to all the YouTube clips, Konnan, did you know that they put the clip out where you yelled at me at the beginning of the show last week?
Yeah, it scares people.
But people popped.
Yeah.